And he didn't know Jesus as Yeshua, but there was so much of Yeshua in him that I got the message as Jesus Christ. And as a Jew, that was a pretty good leap. But there was so much of my Messiah coming through his life. I had to have what he had. And that was where it began. A couple months later, attending the church where that young man was the youth pastor, I was backing him up on guitar. We had already been traveling together as a music worship duo, and from the back of the little auditorium in a junior high school transformed to a Sunday morning church every week, this pretty girl came and sat down on that chair right where I was sitting this morning. And I don't remember another thing about the service. I can't tell you what the songs were that we played. I can't tell you what the pastor preached on. All I can tell you is my antenna went. She sat there in the front row, and for the next couple of weeks I tried to get to meet her. But I had a problem. Every time service was finished, she got surrounded by all the other young men at the church who also wanted her attention. So I found out where she worked, and I called her up. Now, I was 27 years old, and I had lived a very different lifestyle until I got born again. March 26th of 1977, excuse me. I was bold. I enjoyed my relationships with young ladies. And in fact, it was one of the things that convinced me that I needed God. But I nervously picked up the phone. I knew I had been born again because I was so nervous calling a girl to ask her out. I could hardly hold the phone. I'd look in the mirror quite often in the early days of being saved. I'd look in the mirror often and I'd say, "Who are you?" I had been so transformed in just a moment of time. My responses, the words that I used, were colorful, but no longer the shades of color that I used to use quite often. My attitudes, my thoughts, I prayed, I read my Bible so often during the day. I memorized scripture, not by the verses, but by the chapters. And I was being transformed day by day by day. The power of God, experiencing his presence was my morning cup of coffee. I didn't need a jolt, as Jesse was saying just a few minutes ago. He was my jolt. I'd wake up in that sense of that warm covering and forgiveness and fellowship with Jesus Christ was more than enough for me. I picked up the phone. She was working at an ophthalmologist? Yes, but the surgeon kind. Is that an ophthalmologist?
Yeah.
Yeah. And I got the receptionist. She said, "Hello, Dr. So-and-so, can I help you?" Is Luann there? And of course, the receptionist knows, okay. I got me a fish in the line. And she played me a little, she made me sweat. She said, "Yes, just a moment." And I got Luann on the phone. I said, "Hi, this is Paul Wlibur. Would you like to go out this week?" And she very calmly said, "Oh, I'm so sorry, but I'm busy."
Wow.
What? This is Paul Wlibur. This is Paul Wlibur calling. Okay. Hung up the phone. And then the Lord spoke to me. The Lord said, call her back and ask her out for 2 weeks. That way you'll know. If it's a yes, you're good. If it's a no, walk on. So I didn't know, but at the same time, over at the doctor's office, she's praying. She told me this later, of course. And she was praying and she said, Lord, I'd really like to meet him. Give him, and she said this, give him the chutzpah.
Wow.
This is a Presbyterian girl from Bloomington, Indiana. Give him the chutzpah to call me back. So I picked up the phone. She said yes, and the rest is history.
Yay.
So we are a ministry, a family ministry. Everyone in the family, including the pets, has a job.